Radio 4 drama, The Archers, has a long history of tackling difficult issues from infertility to bereavement, from anorexia to dementia over the years. But a slow-burning emotional abuse storyline has generated a huge public response.
Fans have been listening with horror at the controlling behaviour of the character Rob Titchener towards his wife Helen. Now, it's prompted so much interest that the domestic violence charity Refuge has had more donations as a result.
We're going to speak to the charity in a moment, and somebody who's experienced that sort of thing for themselves. But first of all, let's just hear a scene from The Archers this week.
Come on, Henry.
Helen.
Rob?
What are you doing here?
Oh, what are you doing here?
I was just passing the school and saw the car outside. You've driven. Something wrong? Is Henry ill?
Right, Henry.
Mrs. Baines.
Henry! Careful, no running.
Why are you taking him out of school?
I am...
Well?
I'm going to meet Kirsty for the afternoon.
Meet? You can't have told the school that.
No, I said it was a doctor's appointment.
You what?
Daddy!
Hello, Henry.
Now then, Henry.
Mrs. Baines, I'm so sorry about this. I'm afraid there's been a mistake.
Oh?
Yes, I blame those hormones. My darling wife's muddled the dates. Henry's in school all day today. I'll pick him up at the usual time.
Oh, okay. Come on, Henry.
No, I want my day out. No.
Now see what you've done. What were you thinking?
Sometimes drama is even more dramatic and effective, isn't it, when you can only hear the voices and you don't get to see any pictures.
Let's talk more about this. We have the writer Helen Johnson here. Good morning, Helen, who has felt compelled to share her own story of abuse because of this Archer's storyline. We're going to talk to Helen in a moment, but we also have Lisa King from the charity Refuge, who's in our Brighton studio. Are you surprised, Lisa, at how much reaction this has garnered in terms of donations to Refuge?
Yes, I think we are surprised and absolutely delighted to have seen such a huge response from the Archer's storyline. It shows very much that people are understanding that the storyline is about domestic violence and that people want to reach out and do something to support women who are experiencing the issue, which is fantastic because domestic violence, which is a huge social issue affecting 1 in 4 women in this country today, is mostly a subject that is brushed under the carpet and silenced. So this storyline is fantastic in terms of raising awareness, in terms of raising funds, and in terms of understanding a subject that is really not very understood and getting it into everyday life.
In the past, I think when dramas have dealt with the issue of domestic violence, it's been very much about physical abuse. This is psychological abuse mainly so far, we think, don't we? Although it's not entirely clear. Helen, just explain it, relationships that you've been in the past. What sort of things have you experienced?
Well, all of the above, really. Listening to the Archer's storyline develop, and as I said in the piece that I wrote, because it's happening. The Archers goes out every day except Saturday, and then you get the big chunk on Sunday morning. We get double helping on Sunday. It's sort of unfolded in real time, which has shown more. It's shown it more realistically than anything else could. The slow build and the insidious and subtle nature of it. Because the question that I've been asked most is, why doesn't she leave? And when I wrote my piece, I hope I explained why that happens. It's because you can't quite believe what's happening.
Because it's so subtle.
Because it's so
clever.
subtle. It starts so. It's a very strange thing. Although we're talking about women, and overwhelmingly it happens to women, there's it can happen to men as well. In the reverse, it's worth making that point. But it's overwhelmingly women that are the victims of this.
For people who've not experienced it, don't understand, can you just give the kind of examples, the kind of behaviour that we've seen and heard in the Archers, but that would ring true for so many?
Well, it starts quite small. I mean, it also comes at you when you're perhaps feeling a bit vulnerable, and always at the beginning of the relationship. So you're on your own, and then this, in my case, you get a tall good-looking man, and as happened to Helen in the Archers, comes and sweeps you off your feet, which is exactly what you want to happen at a time. So you think, oh, thank goodness, somebody to scoop you up a bit. But then it starts to, you notice sort of the little sulks and the sudden flashes of irritation over things, like I overran at the hairdressers, and there's somebody scowling on the pavement outside, who, the minute I get out, whacks me over the head with a round-up magazine, in the street in front of everybody. And you think, well, that's not, but not just once, just keeps banging you on the head to say, why are you so late? As though you're a 2-year-old. You think, well, I was having my hair done.
But it's interesting because you say that, but actually people in these situations often lose that sense of perspective,
Yes.
don't they?
Yes.
And Lisa, I'd quite like to pick up with you. It's in this storyline, Helen, the character, is quite isolated from her family. And I think people listening now who are perhaps worried about a loved one or someone who's in that kind of relationship and feels almost trapped and isolated, what help is on offer for someone who's going through this?
Yeah. You're absolutely right. Being isolated and prevented from seeing friends and family is a key controlling technique. So we would ask anyone who is concerned about a loved one, a friend or family member, to reach out and access support from Refuge. We've got some great materials on our website, refuge.org.uk, where you can find out what the signs of domestic violence are. Helen has so eloquently and bravely today sat on your sofa and explained her own personal experience. And so much of what Helen has experienced is very true and very common of other women. Partners being very jealous and very possessive, and disguising that as care and control. So it's a very confusing situation to be in. And if we could encourage people, those experiencing domestic violence and friends and family members, to go to refuge.org.uk and access the information, we'll be able to do some fantastic awareness raising work off of this brilliant fundraising campaign that a guy called Paul Truman put together a few days ago that has raised substantial money for Refuge.
Many thanks. Of course, charities are available, charity information available on the BBC website as well. Helen,
Yes.
many thank you for talking to us. I think you would definitely touched a chord with many people.
I was
watching.
amazed by the response to the piece. I never expected it, and I really thought hard before I wrote it and put it out there.
Of course. Many thanks, Helen.
Thank you.
Lisa, thank you. The Archers is on BBC Radio 4 daily during the week, as Helen was saying. And of course, if you have been affected by any of the issues we've discussed, you want more information, visit the BBC Action Line at bbc.co.uk/action line.